Hi, it's Sandy Wiley. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I am a misfit. Remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? I love that. Yeah, I watch that like a couple of times every year, even though I've seen it like a zillion times since I was a little girl. I still am a little girl. Look at me with my heart socks, and I always have Snoopy on my bed. But I'm gonna let you in on how, you know, I was a misfit from really day one. From when I was a young child up until an old woman, a senior citizen. I'm gonna be 58 on July 11th. All right, here it is. I really belong in the island of misfit toys. And growing up, well, you all know my background, but I'm going to go into, some stuff about myself that, I just really didn't like myself at all. I was painfully shy. I had terrible acne. When I mean terrible, terrible acne, I mean I had megawatt zits like the size of marbles all over my face. Not only my face, right? But all over my chest, my shoulders, and back. Think about the summertime, right? I didn't even wear a bathing suit because the acne wasn't just on my face. It was all over my chest and back. I went on tetracycline. I went on drugs for it, and I used all sorts of ointments and treatments. But I think, when you're already painfully shy, and I was always overweight. I mean, I'm not overweight now, but that wasn't the case. Let me tell you, that was not the case. A lot of people don't believe me. When I tell them, like, at my heaviest, before I was pregnant, because we're not going to count pregnancy, because everyone gains weight during pregnancy. I was 175, and I'm 5'2", and I was 175 pounds. That's just not overweight. That's grossly obese. At 5'2", right? 175 pounds. So, but anyway, growing up, I always was overweight. And I had all this acne. And I was painfully shy. And I just didn't fit in. I fit out. I just didn't feel normal. This is before I knew I had borderline personality disorder. This is before I knew my father was schizophrenic. My mother would just say, he's not right. You know your father's not right. That's all I knew. I didn't know. Sometimes people don't like to throw labels. But sometimes labels are good, because when I found out that what was wrong with me was called borderline personality disorder, it made me feel better having that label, because then it explained, when I found out my father was schizophrenic, it made me feel good to find out what he was, not that he wasn't just right. This is a mental disorder. This is what it's called. These are the symptoms. So it made me feel better to have the label. I know a lot of people don't like labels, but say you have all these symptoms and you say, like, gee, there's something wrong with me, but I don't know what it is. Isn't that worse than knowing what it is? Then okay, I have borderline personality disorder. I'm schizophrenic. This is what this is. Many people have it. These are the symptoms. I'm not alone in this. This is why I'm acting like this. This is why I feel this way, because of this. I'm not saying it's an all-catch excuse you should use, but anyway, when I grew up, I didn't know. My parents kept everything from me. I had no idea my father was schizophrenic. I had no idea I had borderline personality disorder. All I felt was I was a misfit. My dad was a misfit. We didn't fit in. No one fit in my family. I didn't fit in. I was the only child. And it just felt like, I gravitated toward people who didn't fit in. In high school, I made friends with girls who were misfits. like me. Girls that didn't fit in. Girls that no one else wanted to be friends with. Those were my friends. The girls that didn't have any friends and no one else wanted to be friends with them for whatever reason, because they were misfits themselves. I kind of like gravitated toward them. Same with my husband. Yeah, back then people thought my husband was a geek. Well, he was a virgin like me. He stuttered. He was a bookworm. He wasn't into sports. Um, he was just what you would call like a nerd. Um, you know how most people think nerds are, or geeks or bookworms. They never get the girls. That they don't fit in, like they're misfits, right? That's how it was. So I always gravitated toward other people like myself that didn't fit in. Now, that just like never went away. I didn't fit in when I got married with my husband's family. Um, I just felt very uncomfortable. I had major panic attacks every time that there was a get together. I would just like get dizzy and almost pass out. I couldn't breathe. If you ever experienced panic attacks, you know that like they're really crippling. They're really scary. Why? Because I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in with my father's family. I just didn't fit in with my mother's family or anyone. I just was completely outside of the picture. Think of like a picture, you know, or a box, or I don't know. I was outside of it, whatever it was. I was outside of it, always outside, always. And I was this like chubby girl with, with terrible acne. My acne was so bad, like I put thick, heavy makeup on to cover it all up. And by the way, I had acne up until like almost my late 40s, almost like 50. Yeah, I think my acne started going away when I turned 50. 50. I had it up until then. So I wouldn't even wash my face before I went to bed, and people would go, "Oh, you don't wash your face," because I didn't want to look at myself without thick makeup covering all my acne. So I didn't even wash my face. The only time I wash my face in the morning, wash it and then put the makeup right back on it. So my face wouldn't be free of makeup like now. Sure, I wash my face every evening and take all the makeup off. I don't have acne anymore. I'm going to be 58 in July. So, yeah. And it was just, I got bad grades. Yeah. Very stupid person. I was not like I don't know. It was very hard for me in school. Yeah. I got C's and D's. If I studied really hard and like didn't have a life, I could get A's and B's. I dropped out of high school at one point. I did go back and graduate, and I did go to a community college and get an associate's degree, but at one point I dropped out of high school for 2 weeks. They told me that I wasn't going to graduate. I had to get A's in all the rest of my tests because my grade point was so low that if I didn't get A's, I would not go to graduation. I'd have to repeat the grade. And the reason why I dropped out of high school is because all the girls picked on me. They just, they bullied me. It's called bullying today, and people are more aware of things today than they were back then. Like parents could beat their kids up, and they would say, "Oh, that's just discipline." Today, it's child abuse, and the parents can go to jail. Back then, people in school could bully you, and oh well. Yeah, but yeah, they would just say, that's all part of school. Now it's called bullying, and it's not allowed. I mean, the things that people are much more aware today about things than they were back then. But I was bullied so bad in school that I dropped out of school because I couldn't take it anymore. I used to get drunk. I'll tell you one thing. There was one time I drank a whole bottle of wine all night. By myself now. I didn't go to a party and drink it. Okay? I drank a whole bottle of wine. And I went to school plastered drunk. Plastered. And I didn't know it at the time, but years later I figured it out. The teacher gave me a note, and she said, bring this down to the principal's office. Okay? I didn't know what was in the note. She wrote a note, and she gave it to me, and she said, I need you to bring this down to the principal's office. Okay. I thought I was just doing an errand for my teacher. I didn't think anything of it, right? So I gave it to her, the principal. She made me sit down. She called my mother, and my mother had to come get me. So in the note, it must have said, this student is very drunk. Please call her parent and have her taken off the property. I had no idea of this, okay? Because I was so drunk. I just thought I was doing an errand for my teacher. I gotta tell you about this other time. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's so crazy. Well, I'm cuckoo, right? The time I took the guinea pig to school. I kid you not. You gotta know the story. Why did I take a guinea pig to school? Not for show and tell. Not for the class pet. You know, some classes have like pets like rabbits and nothing like that. I wanted to get a pet. We already had a French poodle named Renee, but I wanted to get something all to myself that I could hold in my hands in my own room, you know? And my mother said, absolutely not. No, never. You're not getting anything like that. No. I said, well, I put the middle finger up and said, F you. I'll do what I want to do. So I went to the pet store and I bought a guinea pig. Now, my mother wouldn't allow it, right? So what did I do? I hid it from my mother. I had like a big stereo stand that had doors where I put all my records in. So during the day, I would put the guinea pig in there. I don't know how it breathed. I must have kept the door open ajar. You know, it was closed. And then when I went to school, I was afraid to leave the guinea pig in there because my mother gave me no privacy. She would come in my room, go in all my drawers. Yeah. Look, you know, nothing was off limits. I had no privacy. She'd barge in my room anytime she wanted to. She'd throw away my toys. She'd empty all my drawers all over my bed and say, here, clean this effing mess up. She made Joan Crawford, Mommy Dearest. She made her look like a saint, my mother. She did. And we had wire hangers, too. But anyway, I didn't want to leave the guinea pig at home when I went to high school because I was afraid my mother would find it in my room. So I put it in my bag. I had one of these little pouch bags. They were popular at the time, yeah. And I brought it to all my classes. Well, word got around that I had a guinea pig. And of course, those nasty girls, what do they want to do? They wanted to screw me over. Okay? They wanted to get me in trouble. They hated me. I was a misfit. So, you know how they got me in trouble? During lunch, we're in the cafeteria. One of those nasty girls comes up and she goes, hey, I heard you got a guinea pig in your bed. And I go, yeah. And she goes, oh, let me see it. She took the guinea pig and she let it loose in the cafeteria. Everyone thought it was a rat. There's something, you know. Guinea pigs aren't they in the rodent family? You know? And the thing was running around back and forth. The girls were screaming, climbing up on the tables. Well, of course, I went to an all-girl Catholic school, corroded with nuns, and the nuns saw what was going on. What is that? What happened? Oh, it's hers. It's hers. It's hers. It's the Misfits. It's hers. Call down to the principal's office again. Boy, I spent a lot of time in the principal's office. Yeah, I got how many detentions for that? It's because one of those nasty girls let the guinea pig out on purpose to get me in trouble. And it worked. It got me in trouble. Otherwise, no one would even know. The teachers wouldn't know. right? I had it in my purse. It didn't make that much noise. I mean, you had to be right next to me to hear it. It's not like guinea pigs make loud noises, right? Uh, but yeah, so what can I say? I still don't fit in. But the difference now, let me tell you the difference between back then and now is that I think that's cool. I like it. I like being a misfit now. I never did, mind you. I never did. It made me feel awful, awkward. I wanted to fit in. I felt, I hated myself that I didn't fit in. But now I kind of think it's cool and I like it. Why be normal? I say now, why not stand out? Why do I want to be like everyone else? That's boring. That's so boring. And now at my age, I'm going to be 58 in July. I say, I don't really care if no one likes me. I did. Now, mind you, before I cared a lot and it really bothered me. But now, I suppose I can't lie completely. Like, it does bother me. If I like someone and they don't like me, that really hurts. But if you're a stranger and I don't know you and you don't like me, oh, so what? Like, you're nothing to me, so what does it matter? And I kind of like, being a misfit now. I think like I said, I think it's kind of cool not being like everyone else, like being unique, standing out, not being like, part of the herd. I feel like a renegade woman. Like, yeah, I don't fit in, but so what, I fit out, and fitting out is cool. And I see a lot of successful people who fit out. Yeah, they don't try to fit in. They want to stand out. They want to be different. Like Madonna. Doesn't Madonna, but like her, like Cyndi Lauper. These are all 80 people because look at me with the big head, and look at these arms. I'm an 80s chick, yeah, and Cyndi Lauper, she was another one. She was really cute, wasn't she? But yeah, these people, both of them, I read their autobiographies. Both of them started out very young. They weren't popular. They didn't come from fame. They came from like poor to middle class families, and they made it through to stardom. Um, it wasn't easy. They made it because of their grit, and they had grit. They took odd jobs. They live in roach infested, rat infested places that were so run down, and they took whatever job they. Madonna was like modeling, nude modeling, and waitressing, and eating popcorn. Existing on popcorn. Because she couldn't afford food. She couldn't afford any place except rat infested, like cockroach infested places in New York. Where'd she go? New York. Yeah, I think she had like something like $14 in her pocket. Her parents weren't rich. She wasn't born with a silver spoon, but she had grit. You gotta have grit. And she didn't fit in, She didn't fit in. And look at her now. She still doesn't fit in. Everyone's talking about her, but look at. So, to all you misfits out there like me, I think it's a good thing. I think that you should be proud that, you don't fit in. It's who you are, and who you are is special. And I think that you are special just the way you are, and you shouldn't try to be, something that you're not. It will never work out in the end anyway if you try to be something you're not. It never works out, It just doesn't. You got to be you. You got to be you. You got to shine your own light, whatever that is. And don't try to fit in. And be your own, your own star.